Mr. Secretary, I will start in the Western Hemisphere. Just ask you, you're aware, right, that in Cuba, the FBI's top 10 most wanted terrorist, Joan Chesimard, is harbored, right, by the regime. You're aware of that?
Yes.
You're aware that bombmaker Willie Morales of the FALN, responsible for the murder of 4 Americans, injuring 50 in New York, is also harbored by the regime in Cuba. You're aware as well that the ELN and FARC terrorists are harbored there?
Yes.
You're aware that the regime did not cooperate in the investigation regarding the so-called anomalous health incidents, the sonic health attacks against U.S. personnel. You're aware of that, right? You're aware that the Cuban dictatorship has a very extensive espionage network. The most recent case that was very public was the State Department's Victor Manuel Rocha, who pled guilty of spying for decades on Cuba's behalf. And you're aware of that, I'm assuming, as well, Mr. Secretary. You're aware that the Cuban regime recently signed a military agreement with Belarus to train Cuban nationals, and then Cuban nationals are traveling to Russia to fight, for Russia against Ukraine. Correct, sir? Okay. Well, then, this is what caught me not by surprise, but as you know, the State Department failed to designate Cuba as a not fully cooperating country when it comes to terrorism. The rationale was that Colombia's, frankly, how do I describe him, pro-Hamas, pro-communist, former M19 guerrilla president decided to no longer wants to extradite Marxist terrorists from Cuba. And then the Biden administration decided to resume law enforcement cooperation with the regime. Again, not to mention the fact that Cuba has thousands of intelligence agents in Venezuela, keeping Maduro in power. It is a terrorist regime. And so how does this coddling to a dangerous anti-American dictatorship with all of those issues that I just mentioned that I know you're aware of, and so many others, how does that protect U.S. national security interests?